Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. I just came home from my vacation yesterday, and I do have a vacation video for everyone, but since today is Juneteenth, I wanted to prioritize this video first, so that video will be up in 2 days. But anyway, happy Juneteenth, and without any further ado, the first book on this list is called The Love Dale. This story is a YA contemporary following two Black British teenagers, where one of them is daled to date the other one. This story is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. I loved the romance so much. I thought it was so cute, and I loved the chemistry and the two characters individually. Like, this book is excellent, and the plot and the pacing and the writing and everything about it is so well done, and I just really enjoyed every single second of it. I think this book is so underrated solely because it's British, and the majority of the time, like, American books tend to be like promoted more than European books, which really does a disservice to the amount of underrated gems that are written and published in the UK. But anyway, this book was so good, and with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called All the Noise at Once. This story is a YA contemporary following a young Black autistic main character whose brother seemingly gets arrested because of him. This book was so good, and I absolutely loved it so much. It's one of my 5-star favorites from this year, which means that it made me cry and that there's nothing that I would change about it. I loved the characters, I loved the Black representation, coupled with the autism representation. As a Black autistic main character myself, I thought that it was so well done and so well paced. I loved the writing, I loved the characters, the blood relationship, the family dynamics. This book is absolutely so incredible, and it's so excellent, and it deserves all its hype and so much more, especially now in a time where racism continues to be rampant and racial profiling is not a thing of the past. Like, this book is so good, and I think it's so brilliant and so excellent and so emotional and so well done. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Audre and Bash Are Just Friends. This story is a YA contemporary following two main characters, where one hires the other one to help her get out of her comfort zone. I think this story is so good, and it's so well done, and technically this book serves as a companion novel to 7 Days in June, which I believe is an adult romance that came out either last year or the year before. But either way, this book was so good, and you can read one without reading the other, because I haven't read 7 Days in June, and this book, I guess, technically spoils 7 Days in June, but I don't know, I don't really care about that. Basically, this book was so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. I love them individually. I love their romantic chemistry together. Like, this book is excellent. I love the pacing, the writing, the romance. It's so cute, and it's so well developed. Like, it had me cheesing the whole time, like, so giddy. This book is so good, and with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called It's You Every Time. This story is a YA contemporary following two Black main characters who are both stuck in a time loop. However, they don't know that the other person is aware of that. Does that make sense? This book was so good, and it was so well done. If there's anything about me, I love books with time loops, and I think it's so fascinating how authors can make the same characters encounter the same events, but from a different angle each time, and not make the story seem like monotonous or redundant. Like, this book was so fantastic. I loved the writing, the pacing, the romance, the characters individually. Like, this book is excellent, and I just really enjoyed it so much. I mentioned this in my review of it initially, that this book reminded me of Field Notes on Love, which is such a high compliment because that book is one of my favorites from high school. But anyway, this book is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called This Thing of Ours. This story is a YA contemporary following a black main character who is challenging book bannings at his predominantly white school with his new friends. This story is absolutely so fantastic, but besides that, it is also so timely and so relevant and so important. I think stories about book bannings are so incredibly important, especially now when DEI is under attack, when racial discrimination is at a high, when racism is not a thing of the past. Like, this book is so good, and I think that stories about representation and why they're so important, all so important. Like, I think this book is excellent. I love the writing and the pacing and the characters and the friendships and the romance. Like, everything about it is so good, and it's so fantastic. And I think this book is also so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype. I think it's so good, and I just really, really enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, happy Juneteenth, and I hope that this year and every year you are reading books by Black authors, by Black queer authors, by Black disabled authors, by Black authors of every gender, of every sexuality, of every disability, of everything. So anyway, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the flamingo emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.